I love the squinting tip so much because you know what? That's all I do. Okay, not because I'm Chinese.
Hot take, if you're still using the Loomis method to start drawing your characters, you're holding yourself back.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm tired. Guys, we don't need 1,000 hot takes on why you don't need the Loomis method. We don't need 1,000 hot takes on why you don't need to know the basics. 5 out of 10, Josh. Oh my goodness. What's up, guys? Welcome. Today we're going to be rating some art tutorials from Instagram Reels. I'm probably going to run into some artists that I know here, you know, some friends and some ops. I'm looking at you, Coolie.
3 best bang for buck drawing exercises that could radically improve your art regardless of the style of art that you want to pursue. The first drawing exercise is drawing pages of boxes and
God.
other forms.
Oh my
Every drawing that, in my opinion, is the box, you can get other forms. Every drawing that we want to draw is constructed with some form of 3D.
God, not you constructing the friggin' rib cage with the box. What is this? What are we, TikTok? What are we doing here, guys? You know what though? I am open-minded, so I'm gonna hear him out.
With the box, you can get other forms like the cylinder, the cone, the spear, or even the pyramid. So the exercise of drawing boxes and cylinders or even spears in different angles will train your brain to draw forms well. Now this exercise can get pretty damn boring. So what I've always done is draw characters or build characters around my forms so that it's fun for me to do these exercises while also drawing some cool characters. The second exercise is drawing head and body constructions. Most of us want to draw characters, mostly humanoid characters, and one of the best ways to practice them is draw heads and bodies without the details because it's fast and you'll get more repetitions and you'll get good faster. Third and the final, the most important, copy. Most of us want to draw in a very specific style that is unique to us, and we see hints and elements of those styles in other artists that attracts us, and we're drawn to those artists. And the best way to learn and understand those elements is to copy them. That's it. Copy them and ask questions. What do I like about this? Why do I like it? How is this drawn technically? And what is the process? What is the underlying philosophy? The answers to these questions are the first steps in finding your style.
Oh, yes. I'm a big fan of the points that he actually made here, especially the copying one. Oh, so good. 10 out of 10.
5 quick and easy art tips for you to try out. If you select a warm color and change the blend mode to a vivid light, you can use it to create some nice dramatic lighting.
Well, it's kind of nice.
Similarly, you can dab in some areas of light using a leaf brush and give it a slight motion blur to create some nice dapple lighting.
Ooh.
You can fill up your canvas with dots and give it a motion blur downwards to create some rain. Similarly, you can fill up your canvas with dots again and distort it to give any objects in perspective some texture, such as the ground. You can also distort anything you want, such as railway tracks, or even a roof up in front.
Damn, okay, bro said 5 quick and easy art tips, and he did not lie. There were 5 of them. They were quick, and they were easy. Well done. You know, a 10 out of 10. So good. Now, if only the folks on TikTok could get straight to the point like this, instead of beating a horse around the dead bush. Most beginners draw details too early and use too many outlines. Draw the shape you see when squinting instead. Oh my god. Think of simple geometric shapes. Take time to get the initial shape correct. You can always fix along the way. Once the initial shape is quite correct, squint less. Oh my goodness, brother. You are speaking to my heart. These are words of love. I'm not even reading what's on the screen anymore, guys. You had me. This was love at first sight. I am 100%. I'm all in. I do. Yes, I do. Yes, put the ring on my finger right now. I do. And good lord, that is a friggin' gorgeous eye. I love the squinting tip so much because you know what? That's all I do. Okay, not because I'm Chinese. Now, in Chinese art school, back when we were drawing from life and doing still life studies with graphite, our teachers actually taught us to squint. You want to squint so you can see the overall big shape, the main values. And we were taught to observe things that way. And it's one of the things that I still do to this day. Sometimes if you look at me drawing, I will randomly start squinting my eyes. And no, my eyes are not squinted right now. They're actually, oh, friggin' 10 out of 10. How to draw the Loomis method. Okay, start with the circle. You draw the line across the face. You draw the chin, you draw the jaw, you connect the side plane, center line. Yeah, oh, Jesus. What the hell happened at the end there, man? Oh, Oh, God. This is absolutely terrible. This is a great PSA, though, on why perspective is important, because why is the brow line traveling in an entirely different direction compared to the line for the bottom of the nose? Like, why are they not parallel? 5 out of 10.
If you want to draw like this, here are some tips. The number one tip I got from a drawing class I took is to draw with your whole arm and not your wrist. Your wrist makes tiny stiff movements, and that's why your lines look shaky and overworked. So lock your wrist and move from your elbow or shoulder so your lines come out long and smooth. Next, if a line feels awkward, it's probably not you. It's just the angle you're coming at it from. So rotate the paper, again, not your wrist. So every line you draw is a natural pulling motion instead of forcing your hand into these weird positions. Ghost the line first. This means that before your pen touches the paper, hover and trace the motion in the air a few times. You're basically practicing the movement, so when you actually go to draw it, your hand already knows what to do. Start light and commit on the second pass. Your first lines can be super light, just mapping out proportions and perspective. Once you commit, really commit. Hesitation and lack of confidence is visible in drawing. A faster, confident stroke looks way cleaner, even if it's a little off, than a perfect line you second guess the whole way through. Lastly, don't be scared of wobbly lines. Perfect lines don't make for interesting drawings. Those slight imperfections are what give your work personality, especially in architectural sketching.
Wow, these drawings are gorgeous, man. And your lines are so freaking straight. I do like the point about drawing with your whole arm instead of just your wrist, but it does also depend on how big you're drawing. The bigger you draw, the more your shoulders and your elbow are going to come into play. The smaller you draw, the more your fingers are going to come into play. So it's about just being flexible enough that you could use your shoulder, your elbow, your wrist, or your fingers. You shouldn't only rely on one element at a time. I see a lot of people who use only their wrist to draw, and that's the only thing they move. They end up with a lot of tendon issues in their wrist later down the line. But also, I just want to point out my favorite tip from this entire video, which is ghosting your lines. Before you get too excited, this is different from ghosting people. Okay, I know you do that a lot. Maybe seek therapy. But ghosting your line basically refers to when you're drawing a line, when you have an idea of where you want to place your next line, you do a couple of like light practice strokes that don't actually touch the paper. If I want to do one stroke this way, I'll do a couple of practices and then I'll commit to it. And it's something that I actually do subconsciously that I've never actually thought about. So thanks for pointing that out. 10 out of 10.
Stop looking for a style, you already have one. Everyone draws things differently, so the way you draw something is already going to be your style and it's already going to be different. You don't find a personality, you have a personality. No personality is also personality. Focus on the things that you like and dislike and get to know yourself better. That's probably how you can find your art style, your fashion style.
You had me in the first half. I thought I was going to have to disagree with you, but I actually kind of do agree with this. You watching this video right now, you actually do have a style. The thing is, you just need to do more exploration of what you like and what you dislike in order for that style to surface. But you have it, and it's not something that you can just say, tomorrow I'm going to adopt this style and it's going to be my style. It doesn't work that way. It comes with a lot of practice, a lot of repetition, and a lot of experimentation. But, okay, where this might be misleading is she's saying everyone has their style, okay? You don't want to use that as a crutch to say, I don't need to learn anatomy. I don't need to learn the basic fundamentals because this is just my style. That's a crutch. That's an excuse. That's weakness, boy. I don't want to see that in you, all right? Stop it. 7 out of 10.
How to pick colors that are more natural, vibrant, and captivate. The general rule of thumb is that shadows tend to be more saturated compared to the area in light. Let's analyze a reference here with the color picker and notice how there is a natural increase in saturation as I go from highlights to midtones to shadow. We can observe the same behavior with the bricks here as well. We can simplify this relationship between highlights and shadows in the hue cube with a general diagonal like this. The more diagonal the relationship, the more stylized the color. I just like to say that this is a general rule of thumb and not all lighting scenarios or materials react in the same way. There are moments where the contrary is observed, for example, in the foliage here due to subsurface scattering, but this principle is a great place to start.
Really good piece of advice when it comes to colors, and if you guys are ever not sure about how colors are supposed to work in a reference photo that you're studying, import it into your Procreate or your Photoshop and use the eyedropper on that reference and try to see how saturated the shadows are, how desaturated maybe the light is. Try to see where the color is moving on the hue spectrum, right? It can actually teach you a lot about the potential range of colors that you can use for a lighting scenario, let's say maybe with the sun, or maybe with clouds, or maybe underwater, or maybe of your mom. 10 out of 10.
Hot take, if you're still using the Loomis method to start drawing your characters, you're holding yourself back.
Oh, Josh. Oh, no. Ooh, that's a hot take. Ooh, this is not good, Josh. It's not looking good for you, Josh.
The first step
is to draw a line around the eye sockets, just like the mask shape that the Incredibles have in their disguise. It helps to think of it like an owl's face, sort of like a concave satellite disc shape. This makes it much easier to draw the eyeballs and the eyebrows in the correct spot. Now, even though our eyes tend to sit closer to the sides of our face than in the center, there's still a small gap which I like to mark with a curved line. Then, where that line ends, that's where you draw your typical almond shapes for the eyelids. Our eyelids wrap around our eyeballs, but they usually aren't as wide. So if the character is at a 3/4 angle, keep the leftover space on the same side for both eyes.
This ain't gonna fly, Josh. Unfortunately, the hot take was a little too hot here. Let me describe this conundrum that we're in, okay? You wanna use the mask method. You wanna apply the mask. Where do you put the mask? On the front plane of the face. How do you find the front plane of the face? You had to find the shape of the head. How do you find the shape of the head? The Loomis freaking method, man. Stop it. Stop it. I'm tired. Guys, we don't need 1,000 hot takes on why you don't need the Loomis method. We don't need 1,000 hot takes on why you don't need to know the basics. You do need to know the basics, okay? You do need the foundational knowledge. Let's teach everyone to know the basics. Once you know the Loomis head, you can put your mask on the Loomis head, right? 5 out of 10, Josh. Oh my goodness.
Stop using the grid method this way. So instead of trying to copy the pre-made grid, I'm going to show you guys a method that I came up with that is way easier than this. So you start by making your own grid on the paper, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then what you do is you scan your own grid and then obviously adjust this so that you can see. And then you take this scanned grid and you put it on your reference photo. So I just used Procreate and I changed the layer to multiply and I duplicated it so that I can actually see the lines, and then I made my reference photo a little bit transparent so that I can see everything clearly. And there you go. Now you just follow each box and you draw what you see.
Yeah, you know what? I get it. Everybody works differently. Look, if you're just drawing for the therapeutic purpose of putting something on paper and you don't care for learning proportions, you don't care for learning how to actually draw something, the grid method can be very relaxing. It's just like paint by numbers, right? Very simple. But if your goal is to improve in the future and draw more accurately and be able to eventually leave your grid method behind, this is just not the way to go, okay? Just do not even try the grid method. It takes all your thinking, all your analysis, all your learning out of it. You can't observe the basic proportions, so you can't actually add this information into your mental library, okay? It's hindering your learning instead of helping it. You might feel like, oh my god, it works, my drawing is so accurate, but in the process of making that accurate drawing, you have learned nothing. 10 out of 10 for the tutorial. It was very easy to follow, very well laid out, but I cannot get behind the grid method. Alright guys, hopefully you learned something new from this video. I definitely did. I had a great time. Better than TikTok. If any of these artists inspired you, go give them a follow and show them some love. Subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more art related content, and check out my Patreon if you want to see monthly tutorials. And I will see you on the next video. That is a threat. You will be back, or I will find you and tickle you.